And we're back. Welcome to another episode of Muscle Matters. I'm here with Ed. Tonight we're going to be talking about Plateaus, and we're going to have a little fun 5-10 minute banter about Sam Sulek turning pro. See you right back. All right, welcome back to Muscle Matters. Ed, I was talking to you about, I wanted to see if you saw that video of the girl at the track meet. It was it was two young ladies. It's a meet, and they're running, and the young girl's taking her on the outside. She's taking her on. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. She's taking her on the outside, and the other girl just rears back. That's getting passed up, and just cracks her across the back of the head. I mean, just full on.
I guess that's one way to win. Make sure your opponent doesn't beat you.
and then the girl that cracked her in the back of the head is crying victim.
What?
Yeah, she's crying. She's got a whole video that they did a news thing where she's crying, and I didn't mean to do that. That wasn't my intention. Like my baton got caught in her arm, and so when I went to pull my baton back, and then I went for my stride. But you can when you freeze the video up, you can see she's full on.
Right.
I'm like, no, that's not stuck. Freeing and motion is down, not
right.
Yeah.
Nice.
You are not passing me up.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, it was like we'll do. Hey, maybe we'll do that next week. Mr. Producer, would you be kind enough to put up our? I've noticed that we do not have our people talking. Are the comments?
Our chat.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Well, there's nobody watching right now. Yeah. So it's no big deal.
All right.
But so tonight we're going to talk about plateaus and perceived let's call it perceived plateaus.
Okay.
Because I've heard a lot of people come and talk about they have plateaus. Hey, what do you do when you get stuck? And I think people mistake a plateau because it's such a word to use when I'm bored.
Right, or when stuff isn't working, or stuff's going. I'm not.
Hey, what's up, Papa?
I'm not progressing.
Yeah,
that's the simple answer. I'm not progressing. I think that's a better way to look at it. Why am I not progressing? And then you start. That's when you have to start getting into the details.
And you and I have both talked about this. It's boring to squat for 2 hours.
Right. And
it's absolutely, there's nothing spectacular about, what are you doing today? I'm going to squat for the next hour. How many times did we have people come and work out with us and we're like, what's next?
That's it.
Another set?
Yeah.
What's after that?
Exactly.
Another set?
And again, I hate to be that guy and I keep harping on it, but the social media does a big disservice in that fashion.
Yes.
Because people think, well, each workout, from workout to workout, every workout has to be different, and I have to have all this immense variety and all that stuff. And at the end of the day, the people that have done it for a while, the people that are successful or they have some sort of success, we know that it's just repetition.
I mean, you hear about
the variables are your rest, your nutrition.
We're gonna come to that one.
Those are your variables.
We're gonna come to that. So you look up at you hear Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Steph Curry. They're in the gym shooting 1,000 shots.
Nothing fancy.
They're going to this corner right here. They're going to that section right there. They're going and they're shooting. And that is every single day.
Any good boxer, I'm not afraid of the boxer that knows 100 combos. I'm afraid of the guy that can master one punch, because he's going to be able to throw that punch from different angles. He's done it so many times that he could do it with his eyes closed.
Hendo.
Exactly. It's not about all these fancy moves. It's about the one that's going to work.
Hendo, and from UFC, he would just walk around the cage with that right hand loaded.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's people, again, want to do too much. And also the false narrative that, I got to progress every week. I got to have a PR, or every week I have to. It's like, you know what? There's days that you're actually going to take a couple of steps back to move forward.
Hydration and central nervous system and sleep. We're going to come to all that in a second.
Right.
But not every week is a game breaker. And people don't understand, like, I need to change my routine, add 5 pounds.
How many times have you trained a bodybuilder and you do check-ins and they're complaining because, well, I'm holding water, or it's like, okay, it's part of the process.
Yes.
It's part of the process.
Coach, when we're going to change? For what? You're growing.
Exactly.
Are you bored?
And that's, I think, take into account what is the overall goal right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some things can happen that are very drastic that, can kind of derail you from that goal. But if they're minimal things, like I'm holding water or this, and at the end of the day, that's part of the goal. There's going to be some small setbacks. There's going to be some big milestones. There might be some days that you just don't, it doesn't seem like you're progressing, but you're still putting in work.
Well, and if you look at a record,
right,
records are broken by like a half a pound.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about the 100 meters. What was it? When did Jesse Owens run? 1940?
60s, and I think, I don't know.
I think it was World War II, so it was the 40s, 50s, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And now you have Usain Bolt at 9.5?
9.58.
So 0.6 of a second from 1960 to, 1920? 60 years? Yeah. And that's all it's moved. I mean, Ed, you bench what, 315 in high school?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's moved. You've put 500 on it one time and benched it. So you figure that was you were in your 30s last time you benched 5.
Yeah.
So that's 20 years, and the scale moved maybe 200 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. It's not, you have to put it into real perspective, number one, not compare yourself to anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Number one,
the Julius Maddoxes and the Rays are few and far between.
Realistic goals for yourself,
mm-hmm.
in your body. In some of us are, I again, going up, even when I was competitive and all stuff, it's like my squat and my deadlift progressed like that.
Mm-hmm.
My bench took longer, so I need to learn to adjust my expectations and temper my training and all that good stuff to match all of that.
And I think that, like, I'll always fall back to, I think people just get bored. I don't want to do that again. That's the honest answer. Is I don't want to go do that again.
Right.
Okay. Okay. If I take away squats, you're going to do.
And guess what? Now you're getting to the psychology of being a winner or learning to train hard. Is like, it's what you do when people aren't looking, and it's not always going to be sexy.
No,
it's not always going to be sexy.
and that's what, then we'll go back to social media, because you say social media, you've got a lot of, you're a trainer, I'm a trainer. So a lot of times you see these trainers on social media and they're doing goofball movements.
It just showing you the sexy stuff. They're trying to get a click on their channel.
Yes.
Their purpose isn't to get you better. They're trying to get engagement for their channel.
And that
they're being a salesman. And it's like when you walk anywhere. Let's say you walk in Venice Beach, and when they put all the dispensaries.
Yes.
What happened? It looked like TJ. Like, hey, come over here. This one. Hey, you come with this, because you have 3 of them in a row.
Yeah.
They have to stand out somehow.
Yes.
So they're going to do some silly gimmick. They're going to do something. So half the time it's for them to get engagement, and it's not.
And
realistic.
And which client's going to squat for an hour.
Right.
And they're not. And you're like, okay, we got to do something for a leg. So we're going to go outside. We're going to lunge. We're going to push the sleds. Right. We're going to do something different. You're not training to be an athlete, but if you're training to be the best at whatever it is you're training to do, it's a boring thing. And Plateaus. So, one of the things that and the reason I brought this up, the boring part of Plateaus, is I had someone ask me about changing their routine. And I was like, what's going on? And they go, well, I don't seem to be making any gains. And I go, well, that has nothing to do with the workout.
Right.
That has everything to do with your sleeping and your eating. And if you don't feel anything, you're not going hard enough, because gains are made at the table and in the bedroom. Because body has to assimilate the protein and rebuild muscle tissue as you're sleeping. So if you're,
Right.
like Stan says, if you're stepping over dollars to pick up pennies because you want to get up and do something earlier, or you want to stay out late, and you're not going to make the gains that you should be
Right.
making. So, and that's plateaus. There's plateaus are just mostly boredom in my mind.
Yeah, it's a way to describe them. It is just yes, it's an uninformed decision. It's like, well, I'm not supposed. And again, it's this thing that did you have to feel something every single day? And it's like, and yes, there's days that you'll feel you have a great pump, or you'll feel like Superman one day, but then you also have to push through that day that you don't feel like coming in. The day that is dark, the day that is when it's rainy, when you're sore, it's the way sometimes I describe it to my athletes. They're sore when it's raining, when you don't want to go to the gym, when you're tired. You still got to go in and put in the work. It's consistency has nothing to do with motivation. Nothing.
The brain quits long before the body.
Yes.
Because the brain is like, I'm done. I don't want to do this.
Right.
So, like I said, so just stick to what you're doing and changing routines. People think they have to wreck a whole blueprint. Like, I need to change everything.
No.
Increase the reps, add some weight.
Small variables. Okay, so for the last 3 months, I've been doing this same rep scheme where it's okay, change the rep scheme a little bit and you'll feel something different.
Yes.
One of the biggest, in my opinion, that I see physically mistakes that people do is, and I'm going to say that it's a high percentage, 70 to 80% of the people in the gym, they have poor training intensity. I'll write a workout that's, half a page, quarter of a page. Well, that looks really simple. Yeah. Let me take you through it, and you tell me if it's simple. It's the intensity. People are too used to sitting there with their this and chatting it up, and it's like, cut your rest periods to within a minute, or powerlifting was enough time to change the weights and take a breather. Pick up your man it up and put some effort into it. Not just go through the motions. Most people come in and can't leave their day outside of the gym. And that's one thing also. You got to leave when you walk through the doors, leave all the other mess. It's going to be there when you get out of the gym.
Yeah.
It's going to be there.
Yes.
Leave it out there, come in here and try to release some stress here. If you put some effort into it and some intensity, you'll actually feel something different. You don't have to change your program every month or every week.
It's been 3 months. And
okay,
that's cool. I see your pictures.
Right.
Making progress.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's not broke,
don't fix it.
Don't fix it. I mean, it's that simple. And most people that tell you different, unfortunately, they're trying to sell you something.
And there you go, because you have what goes on now is you've got a lot of these coaches, online coaches, that sell programs, and they charge you monthly fees for the program. So I can't give you the same workout and be like, we'll change it up as I see things change,
right?
Because I'm charging you a monthly fee. So every couple of months, I got to write a new workout because I'm charging you a monthly fee. So like you said, that's how they make their money,
right?
So the fact that that's what they're doing to make their money is where people get confused. This is not,
exactly.
If your tricep sucks, nothing's going to beat it like a skull crusher.
Right.
You don't have any thickness, skull crush. Right. It's how it goes.
There's some very simple things you can do. But again, if, like you said, most people or most coaches that are trying to convince you they need to change every week or it doesn't work, they're trying to sell you something.
Mm-hmm.
It's very simple, very boring. It works.
And how can I change your back routine if you're still at 25% body fat?
Right.
I can't say, I don't know what your back looks like yet.
Right.
Well, we're not in meet time. We're not getting ready for a meet. I don't know what we're going to look like.
Right.
I mean, it's just that, when it comes to powerlifting, okay, cool. I'm trying to build calluses up for when we get ready for the next competition.
Right.
So that's it. It's just boring. So that was just a real quick one on that one. We're going to have fun with this one. Ed, Sam Selleck got his pro card. I know we're about 2 weeks late on this one.
And then we're going to be the unpopular. I'm going to be the unpopular opinion.
Yeah. So I'm happy the kid actually competed.
Finally.
He stepped up, and because that was the big knock on him. And I want to have a little fun futuristically, because I want to talk about our Sam Sellecks that we had. Right. But the kid finally stepped up. He finally competed. I was disappointed that he didn't do open.
Yeah, I think he got too small.
Well, and that's
for what he was carrying around before.
Well, he claims he was 285. I don't think he was 285. I don't
think he's that big.
I think he was like the 50s to 60s, if that.
But I don't think he needed to get that low. I think he just wanted to get that low to get more quality.
I think he wanted that pro card.
Yeah, to mask more quality.
Because did you see the guy that won the open? And he wouldn't have touched him.
No, he's not big enough.
Yes.
Let me rephrase that. He doesn't have enough big muscle quality.
Yes.
I think the category he was in, he looked a little washed out to me. Like,
did you
a little smooth? Now,
did you see his Arnold competition?
Yeah, that one I did not see.
But he looked a lot better at the Arnold.
Okay.
And that was because he nosedived into that classic
weight.
Yeah, he nosedived. He was sitting 231 2 weeks out, and he nosedived.
Okay.
So that that's going to cause the blur.
Yeah, you're going to blur it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, so he got fuller for the Arnold. Okay.
Yeah.
I like the kid. I like he's a little more refreshing about his honesty, and he's not as arrogant as most of these other influencers. But yeah, I think he would have. I would have liked to see him better in the open. He would look like an amateur in the open, yes. A good amateur. I think he would be a good amateur. He'd be an above average amateur.
Yes.
I just think they rushed it, and I hate to see that because he has some potential, and I don't want to see him burn him out early.
I haven't seen any comparisons photos for the Arnold Championships.
Right.
It's just Sam.
And again,
I don't know, and so that's why I think the fix was in.
And that's what I dislike about bodybuilding now, that it's about likes and it's about social media. Another guy that probably would, if another guy showed up that would look way better, but he didn't have a social media engagement, they're not going to place him aside because
they got to replace. You got to replace Bumstead.
Yeah.
I need somebody to replace Bumstead. Now, I don't think Sam's going to do the Olympia. There's no way he's gonna because at that point he is going to damage his marketability.
Right.
He might just be one of these guys that, hey, I got my pro card and I'm gonna go back and make my money.
Right.
Which there's nothing wrong with that because I think his body is not a classic physique body.
I think he's a bodybuilder. He looks like a bodybuilder.
He's got the lines and the build to be a good bodybuilder. And I say good because I don't know where his commitment level will be to be great.
Right.
He's got the genes. He's got that Lee Priest, Flex Wheeler.
And he's part of this generation. What he'd be, he's a little afraid to put on a little bit of body fat to get bigger, I think, because it would hurt his engagement on social media.
Yes. I mean, he makes the kid's got to at least make $20,000 a month. So
right.
I'm not, there's no hate on him. I'm just glad he actually did it. But I just think it was him getting his pro card. I think the fix was in.
Well, I think it's the marketing ploy.
I mean, who else would turn in to watch the Arnold Amateur Classic?
Right.
And next thing I know, I'm watching the live feed of the Arnold Amateur Classic. And I'm like, oh, what did the kid look like? So I got to watch his proposing routine, and I went back to work.
Right.
Because it's on in the middle. I was in the gym. So I went back to my set.
Right.
But it was just kind of like, we know the fix is in. They got to replace Bumstead. And once again, if you've been in bodybuilding long enough, you understand the fix. There's just certain things like you'll hear Kevin LeBron talk about how Joe looked at him and goes, well, you're not going to win the Olympia, but you can go win everything else. Mm-hmm. And that's why they competed that's why those guys competed in all those other shows.
Right. That's how they made their money too.
Yeah.
They went to the ones in Europe. They did that little circuit.
Yeah.
Came back.
As soon as they got done with the Olympia, they ran that European circuit.
Right.
They would go over to the Middle East and bring back those bags.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, like I said, I thought the kid did a really good job. I'm very proud of Sam. I'm happy he stepped up. Like I said, I really believe has the potential to be a very talented bodybuilder.
Yeah, I think he. And again, that's not that's
I mean,
where his goals are at, and that's his priority.
With
But I think
bodybuilding, time's on his side when it comes to bodybuilding.
Yeah,
he's only
just
22.
looking from the outside, yeah, he looks like a better bodybuilding physique than a classic physique.
Yeah, when people ask, it's classic physiques. They have that long, more
it's like a long swimmer that just started working out.
They look like wide receivers.
Yeah,
like you look at a wide receiver, you're like, oh wow, he's got a beautiful body. Then you see a guy like Debo walk in the room, you're like this. Oh crap,
yeah,
that's a tank.
Yeah,
he's got tank genetics.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
Not racehorse genetics.
Exactly.
Well, we're happy to be back with you guys. We've been gone for the last couple of weeks. Ed had a birthday. They had we've been gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks.
Yeah. So we will be back going forward. Thank you guys for sticking around. We're going to keep this one nice in 30 minutes. And Ed, what do you think? Next week, we'll talk about our Sam Selleck's. Oh, no, next week. Next week, the old timers are going to be on here. Make sure you tune in next week. We've got the old timers coming in, the Bakersfield legends. I hate to call them old timers, but the legends, the one who laid the foundation for all this nonsense we do in Bakersfield, they will be here.
Yep.
So I can't wait. Man, it's going to be a great episode. Thank you guys very much. See you guys next week.